Dude, like think about lining up against Jason Scruggs. Think about lining up against Stevie. Can you tell us about that a little bit, right? These are guys that you've looked up to.
Yeah. For me, at least in my mind, I just don't want to look like an idiot. Like go up there and act like you've done this before. Give them a run. If you don't win, you weren't supposed to. If you do, you've just David and Goliath that dude, right? And like I can't remember how many races I was in. I ran 9, so that would have been, I don't know, the 6th or 7th race or whatever when I rolled in the water in the final at Dallas last year. And Justin Bond has been doing this for a while. Was the points leader for some of the year. This was my first race in this car. I think I don't know, it was less than 15 runs I'd had in it, and I could have thrown up that morning, much less, when they shut the door, like, all right, man, time to go do a burnout, and that's all I could think about was like, please don't botch this burnout, act like you've driven the car, stage it right, and let go on time. And we, kind of got a little bit lucky, but we ended up turning the wind light on, but, and still to this day, I've done it for a year. We won a couple races, but I still feel the same pressure. I look down at the sheet and try to see who I'm running in qualifying, and this weekend we're running 4 wide. So we're going to, there's a very good chance that, we're going to be lined up beside 3 of, drivers that I've been watching for years. So there is a lot of pressure when you're on the end of, well, they should beat you, but if they don't, or if you beat them, good on you. If you don't, then you were supposed to lose anyway.
Who scares you the most, Lyle, out of all the racing that you do? Like who
do I want to beat the worst?
Well, I guess you could say that, or who would know who are
most intimidating?
Who would you not? Yeah, who would you not want to line up against out of all the different racing you do?
Todd Tutterow.
Really?
I think so.
You're muted.
You're muted, Wes.
Don't mute me.
Dude, you muted yourself.
Todd Tutterow, what a great answer.
For sure. Like that dude's a stone cold killer.
He is, man.
You have to do everything right. I mean, there's a bunch of drivers like Stevie, excellent. Ricky Smith, still good.
Jose,
one of the best, but like Todd Tutterow, he would be one that I would be like, holy shit, we have got to be on our stuff right here, but I think who I want to beat the worst is probably Ricky. Just because he's been doing it the longest. If we ever have a rules committee meeting, he's always at a disadvantage and getting picked on, like him. JR is probably my biggest rival though. We came into the series at the same time. We're even. He beat me on a hole shot in Gainesville. I beat him on a hole shot in the final in Vegas. He's probably my biggest rival, and he's the one I don't want to lose to, which I guess is just the same as wanting to beat him. But, him, JR, Ricky, but Todd Tutterow, by far the most intimidating person to pull in the water box beside the Pro Mod.
That's awesome.
What do you make of Pro Stock right now? Do you ever obviously we just talked a whole bunch of exciting stuff about Pro Mod, and hopefully we've got a whole new world ahead of us. Hopefully there's a whole new path in front of us for NHRA Pro Mod. But do you ever kind of think, you know what? I would like to throw my hat into the ring with the Greg Andersons and Aaron Stanfields of the world?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely do. It's the most driver intensive class you can drive, right? Like it is so dependent on so many things that the driver does right. And you can easily screw a run up in many different ways, roll the car in deep and kill the 60, shift it early, shift it late. You
can screw it up backing up from the burnout.
Yes. I mean, there's so many things you can do that can just completely screw a run up, and so it's super dependent on the driver doing their job, and a challenge, so I do have the desire to drive a Pro Stock car at some point, and hopefully that day will come. But,
what about a big tire, no prep car?
Absolutely. The more time I spend around No Prep Kings, the more I want to drive one of those things.
I think there's a lot of people who'd like to see you in one.
had a couple of opportunities that have popped up, and then, just things didn't really pan out. But I would love to throw my hat in there as well. You'd have to, at some point, you got to choose a direction, because you can't, impossible to run simultaneously run these things. Cause like just in a couple weeks, I had hundreds of people over the weekend ask me if I was going to Maple Grove, and I would love to, but we'll be in Richmond at Virginia Motorsports Park for our next national event, which is just in 2 weeks. But yeah, I would love to do that as well.
Man, we want you to do all of it.